Good evening, and thank you for coming, especially in the bad weather. Today is Tuesday, January 7th, 2025. This is a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Trinidad. Would you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1, roll call.
DeBono?
Here.
Shu?
Here.
Thurman?
Here.
Trahell?
Here.
Ogletree? Here. Williamson?
Here.
Griego?
Here. Item 2, approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes council wants to make? All right, there is one change. Item 4A, Laura DeBella will not be here tonight. She canceled because of the weather. So delete item 4A. So I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Mr. Shu moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Thurman?
Yes.
Call the vote, please.
Williamson?
Yes.
Ogletree? Yes. Trahell?
Yes.
Thurman?
Yes.
Shu?
Yes.
DeBono?
Yes.
Griego?
Yes. Item 3A, policy items and staff reports. Can you all hear me back there? Because we don't have mics. Okay. Item 3A, Detective Sergeant Lay is going to introduce the Trinidad Police Department co-responder Althea Lane and Systems Coordinator for Trinidad and Huerfano County Coalition for the Unhoused. Is it Chelsea Meese?
Chelsea.
What?
Chelsea Meese.
Okay, okay. It's a different spelling. Chelsea Meese?
That's my bad. I probably typed in an email incorrectly to Kim.
Okay.
I take responsibility for that.
Okay, this is one for the year, no more. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here tonight to talk to you and introduce you to our Systems Coordinator and our co-responder. You know, I've talked to you all a few times throughout the last year and a half. We would like to welcome Chelsea Meese as our new Systems Coordinator with years of specialized knowledge and experience in this field. Chelsea's expertise is an incredible asset to our community. In her role, she will lead efforts to address homelessness in the Los Animas and Huerfano counties through a strategic and collaborative approach, fostering partnerships, implementing evidence-based strategies, and maximizing resources. We are incredibly fortunate to have her in this vital position and look forward to the positive change that her leadership will bring. Chelsea is on Zoom, and if I could just let her have a few minutes to introduce herself, and
Sure.
then I would like to talk about Althea.
Chelsea, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. So thank you, Jen, for that introduction. As she said, my name is Chelsea Meese, and I'm the new Systems Coordinator for both Los Animas and Huerfano counties. I have over 15 years experience working in homelessness initiatives, both urban, rural, youth, and adults, everything from temporary shelter, like an emergency 8-to-8 shelter, all the way up to permanent supportive housing. And I've worked within 24 of the 54 rural counties in Colorado specifically in some capacity. I actually met the coalition when I was doing outreach in 2023 for the Colorado Rural Collaborative. I've been contracting for the past couple of years, and so I'm bringing it back to employment, working with Trinidad States here. But I was doing outreach for runaway homeless and foster youth at that time. And I ended up going into the laundromat, getting Marcy Key's phone number, playing phone tag, getting invited to the first ever coalition meeting. And it's just been such a blessing to be invited to these conversations and to now be in the position in which I am. I am really excited to get started here. I would just want to mention that we will be doing a point in time, which is basically a snapshot of all homelessness that is occurring on a single night in January. And then my position specifically will go further in creating a by name list of every unhoused individual within both counties. And our goal is to reach functional zero with all unhoused individuals. So my personal goal is to make us the first region of rural Colorado to have functional zero throughout all counties involved in the region. And I'm really excited to be here. I welcome any questions and I look forward to working with you guys in the future.
Thank you, Chelsea. Anybody have any questions?
I have one.
Well, council first, Mr. Miller.
Okay.
I just would like a refresher on what functional zero means.
Yeah, so functional zero basically means that the number of currently or inflow unhoused individuals is 3 or less of those who are outgoing. So basically what we'll do, once we have that by name list, what we'll do is we will take that list. They will be categorized and then we will take it, and as people get housed, they will obviously move out of the system that we are creating. So the goal is to where when anybody experiences homelessness, whether it be because they've been chronically homeless or they are just now experiencing homelessness for the first time, the ultimate goal is to make it rare, brief, and one time when it does occur. And by having this by name list and creating that flow, and reaching functional zero, it means that a community is basically taking care of all of its members, and that way that those who are unhoused or may end up unhoused are currently at risk have a place that they can go, and we will do that by creating a coordinated entry.
Thank you.
Mr. DeVon, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have questions.
No.
Manny?
No, thank you. We're happy to have you.
No questions, thank you.
Thank you for being here tonight. What, just briefly, what steps are going to be taken to achieve that functional zero? Like, what specifically is going to be implemented to reach that? Do you know?
Yeah, well, first, we can't house people that we don't know are unhoused, so creating that by name list is first and foremost my priority. That by name list will be updated at least on a monthly basis to where we know who has found housing, who is now entering the system. And then I'm also working with landlords, I'm working with property owners. I will be working with these individuals to make sure that there is a house for everyone and that there's accessibility to that. There's obviously steps in between there that include outreach, that include housing first models and different evidence-based practices, especially depending upon the population centers. So the population centers are veterans, chronically homeless, youth, single adults, and then families. So the goal is to make sure that each of those population centers are being taken care of and they have a place to go if they do experience homelessness. So there's a lot of nuance in that, and I'm trying to keep it short because I know you guys have a lot on your schedule today. But that's basically what will happen. Once we have that by name list, we can start working from that by name list, doing case conferencing with a continuum of care to make sure that those individuals are getting their needs met to where they not only get into housing, but they're stable to maintain the housing that they do receive.
Thank you. I'd maybe think it might be a good idea, given the interest in this topic and the importance of this topic, if at some point soon we might have a work session to just have a better and more complete understanding of it. Although I understand, it's a big ask given an already full schedule. So that'd be my input.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Williamson. I have a lot of questions about, because I always thought that this would eventually end up with some type of common property where we can house those that can't go into a landlord-tenant situation. So is that something that's on your bucket list?
So Chelsea's literally like boots on the ground as of yesterday was her start date.
Oh, okay.
So
I apologize. I take it back.
She has a roadmap that we've put together for the last, when we did the grant. There's a roadmap, and we want to achieve all that. But she's right. We don't know what we don't know, and we need to start with what we need to find out first. It's very serendipitous that the point in time count is happening now in January, and she's instrumental in making sure that this happens appropriately, and so that things are documented and data is captured as it should be, so that we understand what's happening not only here but in Huerfano as well. So that's the biggest piece to the puzzle at right now. But she's literally just started yesterday.
Okay. Chelsea, I apologize.
And I just like to, bring everybody forward immediately.
Yeah, no, and I just want to address, obviously the simplest solution would be to connect an unhoused individual who has a landlord. We have to look into options of emergency shelter, temporary shelter, if permanent supportive housing would be best. So it's I have to be able to get in, know the community a little bit more, see what the current needs are. I'm working on a needs assessment as well. And so all of that will give us the answer on what the next best step to making sure that those individuals who can't have the ideal situation of being a tenant with a landlord, that they are able to also be housed and safe as well.
Well, that being said, then, I think what Mr. Williamson's idea is probably more important than originally, because I'd like to see, and I'm sure council would like to see, how this is planned and how it's working, because as you will see, we're having issues, as always, but I think it would be good for council to be apprised of any progress that's All righty, Chelsea, thank you.
Thank you,
luck.
I appreciate it.
Next, I would like to introduce Althea Lane as the Trinidad Police Department's first ever co-responder, a role created in partnership with Health Solutions. Althea brings expertise and dedication to this vital position, which focuses on improving police-community relations, reducing strain on officers, and enhancing public safety by having clinicians take the lead on mental health calls. Her work will also connect individuals to behavioral health services, reduce unnecessary arrests and costs, and provide critical data to assess and strengthen the program's impact. With her extensive experience and deep knowledge in this field, Althea is uniquely equipped to make a significant and positive difference in our community. So if you want to say a few words.
Sure. Thank you for having me. I'm very blessed to be in Trinidad. I love it here. First and foremost, I'm trying to build a relationship with the police officers in Trinidad so that there's trust, and then with community members, so it's reciprocal, so they understand who I am, and not just what the role is, but actually, I want to invest in Trinidad. I'm kind of older. I've been doing it for 23 years, not as a co-responder, but in every single facet, be it inpatient, outpatient, long-term treatment facilities, individual therapy, group therapy, blah, 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 but just trying to partner with the community. This is a new branch, because I used to run a crisis center outside of Philadelphia, is where I'm from, and it's a lot. I've never had police officers so warm, so welcoming, so wanting to take charge. They want to take the lead and help people. They're not trying to arrest people. So it's beautiful to see, and I hope to help facilitate meaningful change with individuals that we come across, not just give them resources, partner with Chelsea, and it's just make sure the whole circle, so that whatever the root cause is that has people calling 911 for everything, maybe they can learn some regulation skills, have resources, and just have the help they need, whatever that looks like. That's what I'm here to help facilitate.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
How long have you been here?
Oh, not long. It's been, 6 weeks? Not even 5 weeks.
That's
Not
longer
that long.
than 1 day.
Yes, longer than 1 day. Longer than 1 day. But I love it. It's beautiful.
Councilman Williamson, do you have any questions?
Well, welcome to Trinidad.
Thank you.
We appreciate your enthusiasm, and hopefully, it will lead to a positive change. Maybe it may not be, the question may not be for you specifically, but I know when we were presented with this idea sometime in the past, and I could have this very wrong, but there was at least an expressed need or an implied benefit of having a safe place for people to be taken other than some form of detention. I forget what the room was called, but in Pueblo they had some specific house. Do we have access to anything like that? If needed, would people be? Is there some partner community, i.e. Pueblo, that we've partnered with where they could go to something like that?
So individuals can, what you're referring to in Pueblo as a part of Health Solutions, we can provide transportation if needed. So if someone's just having an emotional crisis, needs to leave their house, doesn't need to be in the hospital, doesn't need to be in jail, but things are going awry, preventatively, they can go there, have services set up, and then be transported back. So, I mean, we still have access to that, but as far as I know, I don't think there's anything that exists like that in Trinidad at this time.
Okay.
That would be wonderful.
But you have access to shared
Definitely.
resources of some sort?
Yes.
Okay.
I think you were thinking about, they called it the living room.
That's right.
Yeah,
Crisis
yeah.
living room. And
Yeah, which,
Um,
you know, as this program develops, that's always a possibility in the future.
Sure.
But yeah, that's what you're talking about.
Okay. I had occasion to travel through Philadelphia this summer,
Oh.
and I mean that's quite a change. So
say the
welcome to
least.
Trinidad.
Thank you.
Mr. Thurman.
Welcome to Trinidad.
Thank you.
I like the living room idea. One being here in Trinidad. If we need something like that, I don't know if the population dictates that we need something of that nature here or to commute to Pueblo and back. Glad to have you. Glad to be working with police department, and hopefully we can contain our homeless situation and have it before it gets out of hand or worse than what it is.
Thank you.
Mr. Trio.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Been looking forward to filling this position for quite a long time because this has been a need we've needed. So we are so glad. I'm so glad to have you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, same thing here. Congrats that you got the job and gonna work here, and maybe somewhere down the road, like you say, we can work on something for a living room house, safe house, whatever you wanna call it. Because it's tough to transport somebody when they're not emotionally well to 90 miles away, so kind of needs to be here. But thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your newly appointed position, and the city council is also warm and charming, just like the.
Some
No
of us are more-
self-service here.
Some of us are
Only
charming.
Only this side, that side over there.
Yeah, we're really, really fortunate to have you, someone who's so qualified in this area, and I just want to recognize Detective Sergeant Lynn and the leadership that she's provided in both of these new hires to get the grant money together to do this, because it's cutting edge kind of work that we're getting to do and is really going to change our community for the better. So thank you both.
Ditto on the thank yous. It's 7-0. Thank you. Do you think our mental health resources are adequate? Can we access mental health?
I think part of what Althea is also doing in her role is there's gonna be a lot of data collection on this side too. So,
Okay.
and there is certain things that we will have to provide to BHA, Behavioral Health Administration, in order to potentially get more funding and see what the real numbers look like here. And so, as this program develops, I mean, she's been here 5 weeks. I mean, really, she's just started riding with officers and getting the feel for things, and it's been amazing. But we're gonna start getting numbers in at the end of January, and then, you know, there's gonna be an ebb and flow about when there's, you know, more crises and not dependent on the weather or the season or whatever. And so I think at that point we'll be able to make some determinations. But I mean,
Resources.
if there's anything else.
That's an excellent question. I mean, it's only been 5 weeks, but right away I learned about resources that Trinidad has access to, but part of my role is to be the connecting piece, building the relationships. So with the unhoused people that might be causing just nuisance with business owners. I could let them, the case managers that are over on Indiana, part of Health Solutions, know, hey, this person, what the needs really are. Not just surface level, but a little bit deeper to help break that cycle. And then I'm learning that there's a specified case managers for Trinidad, for Los Animas, and Huerfano County. So getting to know them, and they are, I'm not lip service, they are amazing humans. They literally are like, we will come down, we will help, whatever you need. So getting the relationships intact has been a large part of the 5 weeks I've been here so far, so that I can offer that. And coming up with, I call it a token economy for people in the community. When I arrive at the officers, there's the goodies. Water. Some individuals, they're thirsty. They might want snacks. They might need gloves. They might, just the day-to-day needs that I might take for granted, but it's a big deal. So just having those on hand so that it can open a conversation to go further.
Thank you, Three Musketeers, for doing this. This is a long time coming for Trinidad. And I think once it really gets up and going, it's going to make a huge difference in the community. So thank you. Thank all three of you. Thank you.
We are so fortunate to have qualified, highly qualified individuals that were found so quickly, and that are willing to come here, like pick up their lives and move here and want to be here and want to be impactful. I don't know how the stars aligned or what good I did to find people like this, but they are truly remarkable, and total hats off to them. They've already made, tangible differences in the little time they've been here, a day in 5 weeks. So I'm
They
so
say
happy.
it takes one to know one, so that's probably how this all happened.
Mhm.
Yes.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies. Item 4, petitions or communications, oral or written. I have no written communication. Roy Miller on the streets.
I'm not gonna say I told you so, I would never do that, never.
Yes, you would.
But we finally got my cement barriers up there at Reba Court on the 3rd of February. That kid was shot out there. And unfortunately, it takes someone to get shot out there to get something to happen for the city of Trinidad to do something. But anyway, I got pictures of fine barriers. If you want me to stencil them up for you, I can do that. I know how to stencil.
You have 5 minutes, Mr.
I'm on my first 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if you guys want to see the barriers, there they are. I don't know if that kid lived or died. I've been looking for the news media. Nothing. So it must be still under investigation. Mr. Valentine, I'm still waiting for y'all to fix that drainage on top of Corundum Drive, going up the hill from where the Cougar's at. Remember you looked at it? You guys are going to fix it?
Yeah.
Okay. It was an easy fix. All you need is a cement saw and someone to dig out the drainage a little bit. It's an easy fix. And then the county was going to put asphalt out there. Is there any kind of commissioners in here? No, I didn't think so. Okay. We're trying to get some asphalt out there at the fairgrounds. Remember, the next food distribution is on the 15th. 2 Wednesdays. Come on out and get a box of food. No problem. Okay? We'll be running it. And then the last thing I was going to ask about, we used to have a warming center for the homeless, the Zion Church. Someone last year, one of our homeless brethren, got in there and stole some items, stole a wagon, stole some stuff, and they closed it down, and I don't blame them. It only takes one individual to screw it up for everybody. That's what happened. So I don't know of any, I know we used the Knights of Columbus building for a warming center last year also. And like I said, it's going to be down in the teens tonight. It's going to get colder from there. I was kind of wondering if they have any plans for any kind of warming center for our homeless brethren, or they just let them freeze to death. Pastor Clay does hand out the little green bottles of propane on the Sundays and on when he's handing out the burritos in the morning to help out as best we can. But, it's going to get a little chilly out there. We might lose a few, but what the hell, huh? But I don't know if we're going to have a warming center set up for them or not. It's going to get below zero eventually. It always does in Trinidad, get a week or two of it. But I don't know. They closed down our church, so. Anyway, that's all I got. You guys have a good night and all that.
have we gotten has anybody ever talked about opening a temporary warming shelter for this? No.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Probably looking into it though.
Okay. Next speaker is Rhonda Epper, wants to talk about the unhoused.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Rhonda Epper. I prepared my remarks so I can stay within my 5-minute time limit. I'm bringing to your attention today an incident that I hope you will take into consideration as you work with the Coalition for the Unhoused and Detective Sergeant Lay and our brand new excellent co-responder team. But I wanted to just raise your awareness about an incident that happened on Saturday. My husband and I were walking with our dog on the Boulevard Addition Trail when we were accosted by a man who was clearly in a psychotic state and who also threatened violence against us. I won't share with you the details of the words he used, as you can find that information in the police report, but I will tell you that he threatened our lives. And he was brandishing and aggressively wielding an axe toward us. I can't be sure he is a member of the unhoused population, but we did observe numerous tent encampments within the park. So putting aside the personal trauma that I experienced, as I know that was just one incident, but I can tell you that there are many other times when I have felt unsafe walking on the Riverwalk and on other trails in our community. And I've basically decided that I will no longer use some of our city parks or trails until something is done about this problem. I want to emphasize to you that I am concerned as a citizen of Trinidad and as your college president that I am not able to comfortably recommend, even to our students, that it is safe for them to leave campus and to utilize our city's parks and trails. I'm furthermore concerned that we at the college are working so hard to bring in new businesses and new students and build programs for economic growth, but we as a city have yet to take action that could dramatically improve the public safety of our community. So I have 2 requests for you tonight, which I understand are part of this larger discussion that we're having regarding the unhoused population. But I am asking you not to wait on these 2 actions that I think could make a significant improvement. First and foremost, please pass an ordinance to ban camping on public property and enforce that ban. The second is to designate a camping site where the unhoused can legally camp. And I would also note that the second may not be necessary with the recent Supreme Court decision last summer. However, I personally think the legal campsite is a good idea. And I've spent time talking with Heather Sanchez, who's the city manager of Alamosa, and she's also a former member of my advisory council at Trinidad State College. She has shared with me much of what they've been through in Alamosa and what they've learned with the St. Benedict encampment. The first thing that I want to share with you that she shared with me is that it's not extraordinarily expensive. The main features are to find a site, and in Alamosa's case, they used city-owned property that's on the edge of town, designate the site, put a fence around it, provide porta potties, lighting, security cameras, and officer patrol. After a rough start and testing out different rules and levels of enforcement within the camp, they have seen a dramatic reduction in the number of encampments in the city of Alamosa. They basically no longer have unauthorized camping in parks, along trails, or along the river. and it has improved the safety of the public and the safety of the unhoused population. It has also enabled nonprofit organizations and government agencies to go to a central location to provide services to the unhoused population. And it, quite frankly, has eased my mind as a college president for the safety of our students in Alamosa. Our cross-country team is over there, and those kids are out running all the time, all over town and on the trails and the parks.
Doctor, I'm sorry for interrupting. I didn't tell you you had 1 minute left. It's now been 5. I would propose giving her 1 more minute. Please, I'm sorry, because I didn't give her that more.
Thank you.
If that's okay. Thank you.
Just wrapping up, Heather has offered to do a Zoom call with you or even come over here for a work session with her senior patrol officer and her co-responding team. The co-responder team has worked very well for them in Alamosa to talk about how they operate the St. Benedict camp. I've also shared with you the City of Alamosa ordinance against public camping, as well as the agenda item when they passed the ordinance in 2021. And I know you'll be looking at other cities as a reference. So in summary, I bring to you an unfortunate incident that is all too common in our city, and a solution which I ask you, please, let's not take another year or two to collect data and do surveys and study the problem. I understand there are many facets to the complex issues of the unhoused, but that should not stop you from taking a step that has been shown to significantly improve public safety. It is time for action, and I'm asking you to prioritize public safety and prioritize the rights of our tax-paying citizens. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I add something? No, I want to do the congratulations on the plan.
That's nice. Yeah, do it in council report.
Because I don't want to.
Item 5, council reports. Aaron, Ogletree?
I had a quiet week or two, and I have 2 meetings coming up with the Arts and Culture and with the Creative District, so I have time after that.
Thank you. Eli?
Nothing from the Veterans Council until January 13th.
Yeah,
Nothing.
you don't want to,
Oh, yeah, can I?
yeah.
Mr. Everett, I'd like to congratulate you on the grant that they got at the junior college for all that money to bring up the technology and all that. I think that's really great, and I think that's going to be a real help to you guys at the college and bring students in and get stuff done. So thank you for your work getting that done. And I know it's a pretty good sized grant, so that's really going to help.
Yes, thank you very much.
Mr. Trujillo?
Hello. I hope everyone had a great New Year. We were on a break, so did my favorite thing. I was reading the municipal code. No, I love that book. So I have a couple of requests because I was also watching back to some videos too to kind of go play by play, see what we can pick up that we kind of may have left behind. I would like to see, with council permission, a work session on the animals ordinance, 412, 414, 415, 416, 423, and 429. I've put together some potential proposals for that. We can pass that down to Mike and one for Les to see if what we may need to change. It's basic housekeeping is what I looked at. And then I also had some inquiries too. We had the discussion on 9/23/24 for the fee schedule. And I had some people asking when we were going to implement that, so we know when we go forward. Also, there was questions when we were going to start initiating the LiDAR from the police department and the recovery service for the fire department. So maybe we can get an update on that. I'd really appreciate that. And that's all I could get through for my reading because it was the holidays and I thought I'd take a little bit of a break. So thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Thurman?
Nothing to report from Parks and Rec.
Mr. Williamson?
So last Friday I had the privilege of attending a ceremony where South Central Council of Governments board dedicated the early learning center building to Deb Hartman. I don't know how many of you have the honor of knowing Ms. Hartman. I'm sure quite a few, but she's had 25-year career of really just changing so many children's lives for the positive. Children's lives, families' lives. It was really amazing to hear all the people's stories of Mrs. Hartman and how they touched their life, how she touched their life. So the building was commemorated to her, has a nice plaque there, and was really a good situation. It's just an indication of what can happen when communities come together and support that sort of behavior. So that was really encouraging. I'd like to use just a little bit of time to make a request. This was started some time ago. We've had several work sessions, a litany of people concerned with homelessness and the interface of homelessness with, I guess, what you'd call the public. And I know we need to do it with concern and care for everybody involved, but at the time that we had the work session, it seemed to me there was a majority of council that was interested in moving forward with a camping ban on public property, as well as some rules to modify use of parks. And I think that's something that we should do as soon as is possible in the near future going forward. And I think all of the people that are involved and contributing to solutions and concerns should be involved and have stake in that work session. With the support of the rest of the council, I'd urge that we do that at our soonest opportunity. I mean, to be truthful, I think it fell through the cracks with the last city manager. I know it's a lot, Mr. Valentine, to put on your interim city manager desk, but I think it's important that we strike now and not delay further, as delay may result in some incident that none of us want to have, really. But that's my report.
I too, with the holiday, there wasn't really anything going on but family and holiday the past 2 weeks. But I agree with Councilman Williamson. I think the information Dr. Epper gave us, and I did a little research on codes today myself, and I think we need to get started on this as soon as possible. So I don't know what our work session agenda looks like as of tonight, but I think we need to put that on there, at least start understanding that we have a new beginning with 2 new employees for the city. And I don't want to mess up what they're trying to do with us trying to change something midstream, but I think it's something that we need to discuss. There's some things that the city can do with the public parks and situations that we've had around town as well. And Detective Sergeant, if you could maybe be at that work session Monday.
Whatever you need, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. Would that be a problem? No?
No, not at all.
May I interject, Mayor?
Sure.
I think that it's a demanding enough subject that it might entail the whole work session. I mean, and I know there's an agenda, but I think it'd be important that the entirety of a single work session be devoted to it, so that we can have some sense of addressing the whole issue as much as is possible.
Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you all. Item 6, consent agenda approval. Item 6A, approval of the regular meeting minutes of December 17th, 2024, and special meeting minutes of December 30th, 2024. Item 6B, designation of public places for posting of notice of meetings, that being City Hall and the Carnegie Public Library. Item 6C, approval of the bills totaling $1,584,578.92, Item 6D, approval of payroll January 4th, 2025 through January 17th, 2025. I would like a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Shu moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Trujillo seconded. Call the vote, please.
DeBono,
Yes.
Shu,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Trahell,
Yes.
Ogletree,
Yes.
Williamson,
Yes.
Griego.
Yes. Item 7A, public hearings. Public hearing for consideration of an ordinance granting local landmark designation to the property described as R. Chacon, Block 7, east 90 feet times 100 feet of lots 1, 2, 3, 4, City of Trinidad, Los Animas County, Colorado. It is also known as the Hollywood Bar property. The hearing is now open. Is there anybody here to speak for or against this ordinance? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Item 7A1, second reading of an ordinance granting local landmark designation to the property described as R. Chacon Block 7, east 90 feet by 100 feet of lots 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the City of Trinidad, Los Animas County, Colorado. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Shu motioned. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Williamson. Call the vote, please.
DeBono,
Yes.
Shu,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Trahell,
Yes.
Ogletree,
Yes.
Williamson,
Yes.
Griego.
Yes. Item 8, there is no unfinished business. Item 9A, a resolution for the approval of a loan agreement between the Colorado Resources and Power Development Authority and the City of Trinidad for the water tank rehabilitation project number 12-2021 in the amount of $3,450,000. And there's a note less $2,234,229 for loan forgiveness. Who is there? Ms. Behiel, you're going to present?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Apologize first of all for having a resolution and an ordinance back to back with the holidays and everything else. We didn't really need a resolution because our city charter requires the ordinance. But after some communication between General Counsel and our bond counsel, it was decided to go ahead and move forward with the resolution. So as you can see in your packets, we've been kind of plugging along with this project. On October 4th, we submitted the loan application. On December 9th, we received approval for the loan application, and so here we are, January, trying to get the resolution and the ordinances before you all. And then we're planning for closing probably in February. But as you all are aware, the project that we've been working on is the water treatment plant. I'm sorry, not water treatment plant, water storage project. And we applied for a $3,450,000 loan. We did meet the criteria for a disadvantaged community. So with that being said, the $3,450,000 loan, we're going to receive upfront principal forgiveness of $2,223,229 upon closing. So the loan amount will be $1,226,771. The term of the loan will be 20 years. Interest rate will be 2.5%. And as part of the requirements of the state drinking water revolving fund, we as the borrower need to make sure that we satisfy all the federal requirements. And so that's why we have the resolution we have the ordinance. There are other housekeeping things that we'll need to do, but this is the part we need you all to consider. Also, we came back and just to kind of keep you up to speed, we approved the contractor award. We awarded the contract to WBS Coatings, and so that was back in December. So again, it's just housekeeping that we need to make sure that we stay in compliance with everything. Do you have
Mr.
anybody
Williams?
questions?
Yeah, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. It's the project needs to be done, and it's a heck of a deal to have that much of a loan forgiveness up front. I mean, I wish we could buy a car personally with that sort of a loan, but I've never been deemed a disadvantaged community. So thank you for all the work that you've done on this.
No questions. Thank you, though, for all the help and all the work you've done putting this together.
Thank you for the work that you put into this. We know how much it's been months and months and months of paperwork. So we appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Shu?
Again, thank you.
Good job, well done.
Thank you.
Only question I had is when the work commences, will there be any interruption of service, or will it affect water flows at all?
We are actually getting ready to kick off a pre-construction meeting, so we don't anticipate anything like that. The contractor that we've hired has their own pumping stations. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yep.
So that we can keep everything online.
Thank you so much for watching out for our water.
Absolutely.
No, I have no questions, thank you. This is gonna be really a good thing for maintenance of our great tasting water. You're drinking too, I'm drinking some too. I need a motion to pass the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, you guys don't even give me a second. Tree Hill motioned and Shu seconded. Call the vote.
Williamson,
Yes.
Ogletree,
Yes.
Truhill,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Shu,
Yes.
DeBono,
Yes.
Griego.
Yes. Item 9B, first reading of an ordinance of the City of Trinidad, Colorado, authorizing the issuance of the governmental agency bond by the City of Trinidad Water Utility Enterprise in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $3.45 million, providing for the use of the bond proceeds to pay the costs of the project, providing for the payment of the bond from the revenue derived from the operation of the City of Trinidad water utility system, making certain covenants in connection therewith, approving resolution number 1677 of the City of Trinidad Water Utility Enterprise, providing for the form, payment, and other details in connection with the bond, and authorizing the execution of certain agreements and documents in connection with the bond, and setting a hearing date for consideration of said ordinance on February 4th, 2025 at 6 p.m. I need someone to introduce.
I'll introduce.
Councilman Ogletree introduced. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Councilman Williamson moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Shu seconds. Call the vote, please.
DeBono,
Yes.
Thurman,
Yes.
Ogletree,
Yes.
Truhill,
Yes.
Shu,
Yes.
Williamson,
Yes.
Griego.
Yes. Item 9C.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. I appreciate it. Item 9C, approval to execute a contract to purchase real property owned by Kip Hamden LLP, described as Lot 3 and Lot 4 of the Holy Trinity subdivision. Good evening, Mr. Mason.
Evening, Mayor, Council.
So, the city's been working with Cape Hampton LLP and Mount Carmel on the affordable housing project down the street here at the former school, Holy Trinity School. It's currently vacant. As part of that, we've been awarded near $5 million, $4.9 million in grants, in 2 different grants. The More Housing Now and the Strong Communities grant. The city is going to use the More Housing Now funding agreement with Mount Carmel as the $270,000 match for the Strong Communities grant. And the More Housing Now grant has a match of $560,000. That's going to be covered by Mount Carmel. So, working with Mount Carmel, we discussed how they could come up with that match, and we said land purchase of lot 3 and 4 of Holy Trinity subdivision, and there's a second phase to this whole thing is purchase of property near Los Niños Park, near the city garage, kind of a area there, including the river. So that would be coming to you guys later. But for the first piece of this, we want to get at least lot 3 and 4 owned by the city. So this is what we're moving forward with. The grants, they cover upgrading utilities and replacing street, curb, gutter, sidewalk near the project area. So that's Church Street from Commercial to Animas, and Convent from near Main Street, almost Main Street, to Plum Street actually. So that's our project limits for that. And then lot 3 and 4, we decided to purchase those because of their location, which are going to be good for perhaps downtown parking or river visioning type stuff. So very, very good piece of property for us. It's in total 40,049 square feet. Purchasing at $3 a square foot, which was the appraised value. So it's $120,147. Kip Hamden will donate this monies to Mount Carmel, in which case they'll be used for the Strong Communities grant. I'm sorry, not the Strong Communities grant, for the More Housing Now grant. And like I said, we have a second purchase coming soon after. We have to do some subdivision work, my department does, and some rezone work. So you guys will be seeing that, and then we'll get that second purchase done. And in total, it's going to be a $600,000 purchase for all 3, technically 3 pieces of land. But that's all I have. I know it's been a whirlwind of working through this thing, so but I appreciate you guys bearing with us.
No, thank you. Councilman Ogletree.
I just am curious, I'm sure this is all fine, but is there anything that we have in place that we have seen between Kip Hamden and Mount Carmel where they're committed to using the funds for that?
I know on the back of the purchase agreement, on the 3rd page, I believe they say the plan is to commit the funds for the grant.
We had them, actually Michael Gearman had them put that in there.
I think it's almost the 3rd to last page, I think.
Okay.
But as far as agreements between them, we could ask for that. They've been very amenable to work with us on this. I can't find it right now, Nick, but
yeah.
Not that I have any reason, or we have any reason to doubt that.
No,
I just think it's good to have.
They've been a really good partner. They've been a really good
we
partner.
even asked them to put it in the purchase contract that the funds from this.
Page 20. It's on page 21 of the contract.
Page 18 of 20?
Yeah, 18 of 20.
So there are additional provisions and attachments.
Yes.
Okay,
It is
thank you.
intended that sales and proceeds be used by seller for the required match funds for the Holy Trinity Apartments, Dole Stronger Communities grant, and it gives a grant number, so we have that, but we'll work with them to give us some kind of
Thank you.
assurances there.
Mr. Durgan.
Good, sounds good.
No, we discussed that enough.
Yes.
Just thank you for the labor-intensive work on this, guys. So thank you.
Appreciate you, Mike.
No questions.
No questions from my end either. Thank you. I need a motion to execute the contract for purchase of the property.
So,
Mr. DeBona moved, second.
second?
Shu seconded. Call the vote, please.
DeBono?
Yes.
Williamson?
Yes.
Shu?
Yes.
Ogletree?
Yes.
Thurman?
Yes.
Trahell?
Yes.
Ogletree? I mean, Grego.
Manny, you
It's
all.
really small.
Thought I changed the rhythm there just a little bit.
Question.
It's a yes for me too. Item 10, reports by city manager and city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. Bit of an update on the city manager search. That process, the application period has closed. We've been notified that they have 34 total applicants. Of those applicants, 10 are from Colorado, 5 are from Texas, 2 each from Louisiana, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, 1 each from Alabama, Arkansas, California, Florida, Iowa, Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, South Dakota, Tennessee, and Washington.
Wow.
Good job at the reach out.
Right.
What states are there?
There are 29 males and 5 females. So I know we want to have just strictly homeless on the next work session. We'd like to add an executive session on the 13th, I believe it is. The firm will have a report for city council and kind of vet them down and then start the motion from then. So that'll be after the discussion. So the other thing I have, and Dr. Epper's left, we met with the Emergent Campus folks to get a feeling of what their thought is and where we sit together, and it's ongoing, and we'll meet again next week just to kind of get something formalized before we come to council and let you know how what that process kind of looks and feels like. So and that's all I have, unless there's questions.
Do we have any update on the police chief applications?
So actually, we do have the same firm gave us a deal to do the police chief search, and they have their recruiter is in town now meeting with stakeholders. They met with us. They're meeting with police officers and sergeants today and tomorrow. And, they're formalizing that brochure. The gentleman is an ex-police chief, very knowledgeable, and he is getting a feel for the community, and he will give his recommendation for the brochure on the ideal candidate to fit what we're looking for. So it's been very productive. That's moving forward. It's another process that'll take, and I think probably there will be a new manager in place to select that key position. So
Don't smile when you say it.
Right. Did you have to add that?
Yeah.
See, there's 34 people that are dying to sit in that seat.
Yeah.
Yes.
35.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 35.
35, yeah.
I'm dying.
So Mike, is our timeline good for when your last day is and when the new city manager takes over?
I mentioned to council when I came on board, I'd like it to be 6 months. The end of February is 6 months. I don't, based on how everything goes and interviews and offers and, that person having to give notice, I think it'll go longer, a little longer.
Okay, thank you.
But you're willing to stay?
I
Anyone? I'm sorry, I just wanted to.
No,
Mayor, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Mr. Valentine, in having the executive session on the 13th to winnow through those applications, is that causing any concern, or is the 13th fine within the timeline provided by the hiring agency? I mean,
No, it works out fine.
Okay.
They suggested that to give them time.
Okay.
I don't think they're gonna go through each one and say,
Sure.
this one, I think they're gonna, he says he'll put together a PowerPoint presentation. And I envision him saying, well, here's 10 applicants that really don't fit the criteria the council wants. So you can look at them, and then,
Yeah.
that's what I envision. He
Okay.
said it'd be about an hour. It's not gonna be like 34 applicants that you have to review and, there's still a process to vet them down.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All righty. Now, both of those issues are very important. We have to stay here for forever, we will. Mr. Downs, do you have a report, sir?
Very briefly, Madam Mayor, council members. Yeah, I know lawyers always say that. First of all, I will look forward to a rousing discussion on the homeless, the unhoused issue on Monday. It's going to be a lot of legal advice. I do want to remind all of you that there are 2 ordinances in place already that are partial camping bans. That is, 2 ordinances on this subject. Mike, Audrey, and I were talking about that earlier today. We had a sense that this was going to come up this evening. And so I will provide those ordinances to you. Not saying that that's going to, satisfy you, that that's all you're going to want. We're here to, have you listen to everyone who wants to speak, get your thoughts, and I will give you my legal advice on the subject. I know there have been historically a lot of comparisons to Alamosa, and the Alamosa ordinance, I just want to emphasize that ordinance does reference not only case law on the subject in the body of that ordinance that was given to us by Dr. Epper, but it also references the camp that they have in Alamosa. So I just think it's kind of easier to do, and I know that the doctor was speaking about that. It's just easier to do if you're going to have a broader camping ban that is going to limit the places where homeless people go, if you do have a place for them to go. But I don't want to begin the discussion now. I just think your legal options are greater if that is in fact an option that we have. So to emphasize that point. The only other thing I want to say is there are a number of subjects that we need to have executive sessions on. And not just, the city managers. There are a number of things. I won't say what they are. I'll send you a confidential email. But there are a number of things that we need to talk about in executive session. So I know we're not going to be able to do that on the 13th, but there are some other things that we're going to talk about.
Are they pressing matters, Mr.
No,
Jones?
not hugely, but they do need to be
attended to.
Yes, exactly. So we'll be having a number of those coming up. I don't think we have a need for anything off schedule, at least not at this time. But I'll send you, and also I wanted to say, part of the reason I mentioned that is, when I send you an email on that subject, if there's anything I overlook, and there's something that you would like to have an executive session on, please let me know. Okay, I can talk to other staff and we can arrange all those things. But that is all I have. Thank you.
All righty,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one.
Yeah.
Item 11, adjournment. Motion to adjourn. Shu, motion. Second.
Second.
Trujillo seconded. Call the vote, please.
DeBono?
Yes.
Shu?
Yes.
Thurman?
Yes.
Trudeau?
Yes.
Ogletree?
Yes.
Williamson?
Yes.
Griego?
Yeah.
Meeting is